We have some breaking news. An NBA blockbuster trade has just gone down. Mitchell Renz, Tom Downey. We're going to be here to take you through everything that just happened. I'll tell you what, couldn't believe it happened, but James Harden has officially been traded, Tom, to the Brooklyn Nets.
What a time to be alive. Too busy to not break into our NFL show, or too important to not break in, right?
Exactly.
Harden is going to the Brooklyn Nets. This isn't the most surprising news ever, especially after what happened, I'll say, in the past 24 hours, which James Harden walks up to the podium and goes, I tried and I'm out of here. That was literally what he said.
It's basically an
And, I mean, first off, he's fat. He put on weight. Let's be honest here. He did not try everything this season. There was some very much lazy effort going on by James Harden. But he's out now. He goes to the Brooklyn Nets. It was really two teams that were heavily...
and the Nets.
The 76ers and the Nets. So some very significant details going moves going on here. This is part of a pretty wild trade, Mitch. We'll break it all down here in a minute as well.
So what is y'all's one-word reaction to the trade? So go down in the comments section and let us know. James Harden traded to the Brooklyn Nets. Give us that one-word reaction to the trade. Tom.
I got mine. In the words of Bradley Beal, spicy.
Spicy.
That one is, I think, a perfect fit right there. This is actually a 4-team trade. Only in the NBA do we get this level of chaos and wildness here in January, although I guess relative to the normal schedule, because the schedule's weird this year,
So
right?
I'm not really a big fan of Blockbuster, so I'm going to use my old joke that I always say. This is more of a Netflix trade because Blockbuster, they're washed up, they're gone. This was a Netflix type of trade. So, Tom, here it is. I mean, this is gigantic. The Brooklyn Nets, they received James Harden. The Houston Rockets receive Victor Oladipo, Dante Exum. Wow, 4 first-round picks. That's a lot.
Rodions Kurucs, by the way, is the other player there. You don't know how to... You failed our NBA pronunciation guide. He was on there, I think.
I'll be honest, I didn't see it because of the camera.
Yeah, this is an absolutely wild trade. So the Rockets, you'll make note, wait, Victor Oladipo, he wasn't on the Nets. You're right. He was actually on the Pacers. The Pacers are sending Oladipo to the Rockets on a deal centered around Caris LeVert. The Cleveland Cavaliers got involved here, by the way, and they're getting Jarrett Allen. Now, the Cavs have like 18 different big men, but that's their keeper piece right there in Jarrett Allen.
I do a lot of the NFL shows here. I wish the NFL would do more 4-team trades like this. This is absolutely insane. This is awesome. This is why you guys should absolutely subscribe to Chat Sports, because we're going to be breaking down not just NFL, but NBA content as well. So with James Harden, he's the biggest name in this trade, no doubt about it. The second biggest name is Victor Oladipo, and I have loved this guy since he came out of Indiana. And when he was drafted by the Magic, again, you can see the electricness. You can see him playing great. The last time, though, that I heard anything about Victor Oladipo, Tom, I'll be honest with you, he was on this show where he had to sing in a costume suit as Thingamajig.
Of course you're going to bring that one up there. Of course you would.
Masked Singer, that's what it was.
It's a really interesting move by Houston to go for Victor Oladipo as opposed to Caris LeVert. Now, this, I guess, might end up being a little bit of a hot take here, but I actually might have just kept Caris LeVert in the end. Okay. I like him quite a bit, but if you get healthy Victor Oladipo, if he comes back to the player and the caliber of player that we saw earlier, that one's a no-brainer. I like this quite a bit from the Pacers. Now, of course, there are some first-round picks being involved there. I think the Cavs give him a first-round pick via Milwaukee. I think that's where that Milwaukee pick came from as part of the Houston side of it. But it's almost a one-for-one swap here of LeVert and Oladipo. I like it for the Pacers because you ran the risk of losing Victor Oladipo for nothing in free agency. Ooh. Now you got Caris LeVert. I would argue that's a little bit of a keeper for them in the end. So there's a whole lot going on here. Yes. 4 different teams involved. It was just absolute chaos in the end, and all came down in a matter of like an hour here. It was pretty crazy in the end. So there's, I think, a good argument for all 4 of these teams in some capacity to be the winner here, Mitch.
So let us know down in the comments section who won this blockbuster trade featuring James Harden. If you think it's the Houston Rockets, I want you to type HOU. Maybe it was the Brooklyn Nets. Type BKN. Could it be the Indiana Pacers, excuse me, IND, or was it the Cleveland Cavaliers? Type CLE. I mean, I don't know that much about basketball, but I do know this. It is a star-generated league. If you can get a star like James Harden to your team to pair him up with Kevin Durant, I'm going to type Brooklyn because Brooklyn could be a team that could challenge a team like the Celtics in the East.
Low-key, I kind of dig it for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, you got way too many big men as it is You got Andre Drummond, you got Kevin Love, you now add Jarrett Allen, two of other players on there as well. They do move their 2022 first-round pick via Milwaukee, which is unprotected, but they kept Giannis, so that's going to be a late first-round pick. I like that one quite a bit, frankly, for the Cavs. In the end, if you get not fat Harden, I think you have to go with Brooklyn. I think this makes them the favorites in the East. If you get in-shape Harden, and if the whole Kyrie Irving stuff gets figured out there, I am okay with it for Houston. Those picks in the end, those are so far down the road. The 3 first-rounders straight up from Brooklyn, 2022, 24, 26, first-round swaps from now until 2027.
Wild.
That could end up looking great for Houston. So I give Houston a lot of credit here for getting some value back for Harden, who made it very clear he actually wants out.
What I want you guys to do right now is hit that big red button that says subscribe. If you're looking for daily videos here at Chat Sports, we got you covered, and we don't want you to miss anything going on in sports. Maybe it's around the NBA, maybe it's around the NFL. We got you covered here. We are Chat Sports after all. We're getting close to 230,000 subs, and hopefully y'all are joining the ride here when all those first-round picks in 2027, heck, 2040, I don't even remember what they were, Tom. But we're going to be making videos until then. You're not going to want to miss it. Hit that big red button that says subscribe. Let's take a look one more time at this James Harden blockbuster trade. The Brooklyn Nets, they receive star player Harden. The Rockets receive Victor Oladipo, Dante Exum, Rodions Kurucs, and then 4 first-round picks.
Yeah, the years on those picks, by the way, are as follows. There are 3 first-rounders from Brooklyn in 2022, 2024, and 2026. They also get, by the way, the Bucks first-round pick in 2022. That comes via the Cleveland Cavaliers, so we'll get to in a second. The first-round pick swaps, by the way, 2021, 2023, 2025, and 2027. In the event that Brooklyn's drafting lower than Houston, they'll swap those. The second half of this trade, by the way, the Pacers get Caris LeVert, part of the Victor Oladipo 4-team trade type deal here. A second-round pick as well, because why not? The Cavs then get Jarrett Allen and Taurean Prince, so I kind of like it from the Allen side. Like, I think that's a long-term piece for Cleveland now. Means Andre Drummond's gone, but oh no. But see, that's fine.
I guess my issue with that is for the NBA, it's not so much of a let's look to the future. It's let's try to win right now,
but if you're
because
the Cavs,
it changes so much.
The Cavs suck.
I understand that the Cavs suck, but the issue is it is a star-generated league, and you need to try to win right now. And Brooklyn does that.
Yeah. I'm not arguing that the Cavs are suddenly better than Brooklyn. I'm saying from where the Cavs are sitting at right now, acquiring young assets makes a lot of sense.
No disrespect to the Cavs. Are they relevant?
They're a part of this trade, so yes, absolutely.
I don't know. I think the relevant part that we should talk about is the Nets,
we'll
James
talk about
Harden.
all 4 teams.
I mean, it's James Harden. Let's be real.
Of course, that's the focal point here of this deal, right? And it was only a matter of time before the Rockets were more or less forced to move on from Harden. I think in the end, there had been whispers of, hey, they kind of resumed talks before Harden's little outburst at the press conference table and was like, yeah, I tried really hard. I love the city. Bye, was basically what he said. To get this value back for Houston, Oladipo, Exum, and Kurucs are fine pieces. Maybe they become something, maybe they're not. It's really Oladipo and 4 first-rounders. Yeah. That's really intriguing in the end.
Absolutely.
And that if Houston plays their cards right, they're kind of in a weird spot where, like, they're not going to win with Oladipo and John Wall and Boogie Cousins right now. But I think they can still be a playoff team with all those pieces.
Yeah.
And I think for Houston, that's okay. It helps, keep attendance and fan interest now, and then you got all those draft picks down the road, which I think will help with their cheaper owner.
So grade Harden's tenure with the Houston Rockets, A, B, C, D, or F. I could actually probably just put O because there was only offense, and we probably should have taken out the D because there was never any D by James Harden. I'll give it a B grade. Obviously, when you bring in a player like Harden, you also brought in somebody like Russell Westbrook. They were trying to compete in the West. The issue is you got guys like LeBron James, Anthony Davis teaming up and could never quite get over the hump. I'll give it a B grade. How do you go?
I think B is pretty fair. They had a lot of success with Harden. They never got to the ultimate success, and that's always going to be a bit of a disappointment there. They were so close, and I guess the big takeaway here I have in the end from this is in the NBA, it's star-driven. If you pout enough, you get to be traded, and that's exactly what Houston did with James Harden.